Welcome to SilverC Review. I didn't mean to splash. This podcast has an introduction, a movie review, a movie recommendation, jokes and quotes, and Inside the Intorvert. So if you want to see just a certain section or something, all the times will be listed down below, so feel free to watch what you want to watch. I am in my kayak again. As you can see, I like kayaking so much that I'm able to do several of these in a kayak like I said I was going to, even though I'm about an hour outside my hometown. So, it's pretty awesome. If you noticed in the last video, my phone got dropped in the water, but it is perfectly fine. It made there was nothing wrong with it. It repelled all the water, and I got it out of the water quick. I put it in rice just in case, but it's good. So, no worries about my phone, which is good because it's S6. I just bought it this year after my S4, my Android Galaxy S4 died, and I don't buy new phones often, so that would have been kind of ironic if I dropped it in the water and it actually hurt the phone. But nope, it's good. And I looked it up, and it's not actually waterproof. The S5 is when they stopped making it waterproof. I don't know if they ever went back to the waterproofing, but this one is not, but it's enough to where it can resist it. Anyways, we're going to talk about two movies I watched recently. One of them is called Unsane, giving that one a 4 out of 10. It's not filmed very well. It's kind of like, ooh, that's cool. Let's go in here. It's not filmed very well. Kind of like a student film or something. But the story is really cool, and it's got Matt Damon in it. Like, he all of a sudden showed up. I thought, what in the world? Whoever created it must have known Matt Damon or something. But, I mean, I'd say it's worth a watch. So, that's going to be that one, Unsane. And Fantastic Four. Wonder if I can do this without getting too many spiders on me. Oh. That wasn't too bad. The new Fantastic Four, giving that one a 7 out of 10. It is in my collection. It really drives me insane that they changed the origin story. Oh man, I didn't even see that spider web. I know in the comics they probably explained that origin story and stuff, but I don't like that they changed it. I like the original one where they were in space, not going to like another dimension. So that's one of my big problems with it. But I mean, overall, the movie's definitely entertaining for just like an action movie. Let's see if I can turn around here. Let's see. I hope I can turn around. I don't want to go backwards. I can't do it. Oh, wait, I can do it there. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I did add it to my collection, so I'd recommend watching it if you haven't. So, we're going to go into the movie review. Sorry, I'm getting splashed and it's hard to concentrate. Oh yeah, I gotta put my hand up too. I'll just stop here for a second. Alright, so movie review is going to be Ocean's 8. I'm giving this one a 5 out of 10. Which I kind of expected. I wasn't expecting it to be great or anything like that, even though I love all the other Ocean's movies. There's definitely going to be spoilers in this movie, so if you haven't seen it and you plan to see it, I'd say watch it first. I bet that sun is right in the camera. I hope you can see me alright. We're going to go into talking about it once I get out of this thing. See, this is kind of what I like about kayaking, is you can just kind of go anywhere. As long as there's like a couple feet of water. This is not going to be quite as smooth. Not too bad though. Okay, so and when I say she, I mean the main character. I don't even remember what the actor's name is. There's a lot of actors in this one. Popular actors, I should say. But anyways, she's a pretty good person. But I didn't really like when she was stealing the stuff from the shopping area. Because number one, the items weren't deactivated. So I don't know if the way that store works is the bag deactivates the item. And number two, how in the world could people not like notice that she didn't have those items when she walked in the store? I mean, I've worked retail. I would know if someone all of a sudden was in my store with like 6 items that they wanted to return. And especially if the bags are the things that deactivate them, you would never give someone a bag for the items if they asked. Be like, no, that's our security method. That's not going to work. So that was kind of iffy on that one. I didn't care for that. When, what's his name? Nope, I don't remember his name, but one of the Oceans people come out and he says they thought I was the best one to talk to you. He was probably the cheapest one to talk to her, like payment-wise for actor. And I was kind of wondering how many from Ocean's movies would be in this movie at this point, and later I find out it's just 2 of them. This movie didn't have the same feel as the Ocean's movie. I mean, the Ocean's movies I've kind of talked about when I talked about Isle of Dogs. I love the way they communicate to each other, because they kind of know everything's so sophisticated, and they're all of the same mindset, and they know what's going on, and I don't know, that's what I like. It just seems, I feel like they're very skilled, and in this movie it felt like they were all just kind of thrown together, and I mean, it felt like they barely had a plan, and it was kind of like a hack job. I know she had been thinking about this the entire time. Oh man, there's water on my camera. I know she had been thinking about this the entire time, and they reference that later, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but I don't know, for her having it perfectly planned out, it didn't feel very planned. Like, they kept having things go wrong, and yeah, we'll get to some more of that. It does have a few good laughs, so I mean, for being an Ocean's movie, they always have a few good laughs, so they at least had that. So, like I was saying, whenever she says running it through my head until I wasn't getting caught, that's not something I could ever do. I have very little ability to visualize anything. I have to see everything in person. That's why I'm not a good artist or anything like that. I just can't see things. Like, when I took art in high school, there was one of my good friends was in my class, and he's just amazing at it. And he would be halfway through drawing something before I'd finally realize what it was he was drawing. Like, he could see the entire picture in his head, and I just couldn't see it at all. Like, even based on what he had drawn, I couldn't see it. It's an Oreo, I think is what they're called. But, so it wouldn't matter how long I was in jail, I would never be able to plan something in my head like that. I'm going to try to stay in the shade. I'm hoping when I get around this corner it'll be shady again. Don't tell anyone, but I forgot to bring my water with me, or anything to drink for that matter, which is not smart when it's 96 degrees right now. So I want to stay in the shade as much as possible. And also, I left my sunscreen in the car. So probably gonna get sunburnt today a little bit. So yeah, we're gonna do everything I can to stay in the shade. Rihanna playing the hacker was a little weird. I was like, is that Rihanna? And it doesn't really suit her. Like, she doesn't come off as a real clever person, or especially someone that could... What is that? Sorry, just a whole bunch of bubbles all of a sudden coming up. Like, she was definitely not a very believable hacker. Not overly funny either. I know she kind of tried to be, but not really buying it. I probably can't say her name correctly, but Helena Bonham Carter. And I don't reference actors very much, so that's why I can never say their name. But I really like her in almost every movie that I've seen her in, so I was glad that she was in this one. It's kind of weird that it took so long for them to scan the necklace. And also, I didn't quite understand the visual. Like, could she actually see? Because it kind of did like a progression loading bar thing around the necklace as it was scanning it. I didn't know if she could see that in her glasses, or if that was just they were putting that on there as a movie effect, and that's kind of what they were seeing on their end or something. So I know it flips back and kind of shows what part of the necklace has been scanned on their end, but I don't know, it was kind of weird. It just made the necklace blue, I guess, in her glasses. but it seemed weird that it was taking that long. And did they not know where the necklace was going to be at when they went underground, and that there was going to be concrete and stuff? And again, that's another, it seems like that's something you would have known if you were going to plan something like this. I mean, they did a decent execution of their overall plan. Like when they actually do the stealing of the necklace. I mean, overall, everything went alright. I thought it was really cool, them turning it into other jewelry. Can you hear him? Herrings are such noisy birds. Of course, now he's not going to say anything. Although, I don't feel like they needed to make every single part of it a piece of jewelry. Like, they weren't, as far as I could see, they weren't being inspected on the way out, so they could have just, one person had part of the necklace and the other person had the other part, and I know they kind of wanted to tie it together to where everyone had something, but didn't really feel like that was necessary, or I didn't notice where they were getting pat down on the way out. They could have just carried it in their pocket. There is lots of cameos in this movie. I was trying to figure out who the designer was that they kind of trick to get the other lady. Oh man, I'm terrible at this. I was trying to figure out who the designer was. It ended up being the girl from War of the Worlds, except for it's 13 years later now. So she's now an adult. She's a little girl in that movie. But I was like, man, she looks really familiar. And when I got to looking for cameos in this movie, I found a list of, like, I think there's like 15 cameo people in this movie. So there's a lot. I mean, that was including the Ocean's actors and stuff like that, but there's a lot of cameos in this movie. It was like everyone wanted to say they'd been in an Ocean's movie. I really like James Corden, so I was glad that he was in this and glad that he had a pretty decent role in this. I'm not sure why. I don't know if he does much acting, but I really like everything he does. Like, he seems to have such a happy and positive attitude, and he's fairly funny, not overly comical, but I just like his attitude, and he always seems happy, so I like that. Oh, Anne Hathaway, that was now that I have it on here, I can say that. That was who they were trying to make jealous with the girl from War of the Worlds. Anyways, working with her was definitely a twist. I didn't see that coming. I don't know if it was, I mean, I know they said it was necessary because she was starting to figure things out, but I don't know. It's kind of weird that we didn't know about it until right then, but I guess that's kind of how Ocean's movies work usually. So, yeah, which, speaking of that, the ending definitely did feel a lot more Ocean's whenever they go through the actual plan to steal all the necklaces, and that's when the second Ocean's member comes in. I wonder if I put his name on there. Yep, Yin, actor name Shabo Quinn. Yeah, they use him. Pretty big spider. To get over there and grab the necklaces and everything. So that was actually, like, it felt very Ocean's. Like, it goes in and shows exactly what all they did, and it had the theme music going and everything like that. So that was one of the few parts in this movie I was like, yes, I'm watching an Ocean's movie, but it wasn't nearly good enough to hold the whole movie up. Which the actual ending, I was pretty confused about. It didn't really show, like, it shows each member and they're kind of doing something, and I think it kind of referenced what they had talked about doing, but they weren't spending a lot of money. Like, the things they were doing wasn't like a ton of money. Like, in one of the Ocean's movie, the different members talk about what they're going to do with their shares, and it actually, you can tell that they spent a lot of money on this stuff. Like, at one point, he's got the sound system that literally blows the woman's clothes off. I mean, that was a ton of money to buy something like that. And I don't remember exactly, but the stuff they were doing, at first I thought that's what it was, is they were showing how they spent it. But the stuff they were doing didn't look like it would have taken a whole lot of money to do, so I don't know. That one caught me off guard, or not caught me off guard, but just confused me. And the last thing, I didn't realize she was visiting Danny's grave until the very end. And, like, I don't know. I know she said something about a grave, but it just didn't click to me that the building she was in, where he was talking to her, was a grave, like an ash area. Like, I've seen those before, but when I think of graves, I would just think of a graveyard with tombstones and everything. So it didn't really click until the very end when it literally shows you his name. And I highly doubt he's dead. I mean, unless they're trying to play off that or something, but I mean, it's just, it would be really, really weird that his character would just show up dead. I mean, he's a con man. I'm sure he could have faked his death or something like that, but that was kind of strange and not believable for me, at least. Dude, that turkey vulture is super close to me. I wish you could have seen that. I should have spun my kayak around. I wasn't thinking. Maybe he'll do it again. I forget that you can only see what's right behind me. Anyways, we're going to go on to the movie recommendation. Let me get in the shade. I'm not sure. I guess it probably wouldn't matter. Alright, so this one's going to be Spirited Away. Spirited Away. Here he comes again. I don't know if you can see him. You should have been able to see him, yeah. He wasn't nearly as close to me that time. But they are kind of circling me. Maybe they know that I don't have any liquid and I may die of dehydration out here. Spirited Away is 2001. It is a Studio Ghibli movie, which is my favorite movie production company. And it's Japanese animation. The creatures in it are very odd looking, but they're very interesting as well. And my phone's going crazy. It's got a really good story. It's got some good twist in it, and the creatures are weird, but I still think it's beautifully animated. And I mean, we've discussed that you need to kind of, I mean, I guess if Japanese animation is just a total turnoff, but if the only thing is you think it's a kid movie, you really need to look past that and watch some of this stuff to see the themes that they approach and things like that. The description is 10-year-old Chihiro and her parents stumble upon a seemingly abandoned amusement park. After her mother and father are turned into pigs, Chihiro meets a mysterious Haku who explains the park is a resort for supernatural beings who need to take a break from the time spent in the earthly realm, and that she must work there for free. Work there to free her parents and herself. And that's essentially it. He helps her out, and she's like a Japanese resort, so she's cleaning floors, and it's a bathhouse, so she's cleaning those areas and things like that in order to get the spell on her parents to release, and so she can get out of that area because she's kind of trapped. They're probably coming in. Sorry, there's like 4 of these turkey vultures. They're probably coming in to roost for the night. That's why. So anyways, really excellent movie. Definitely check it out. Check it out. Spirited Away. Oh, forgot about my phone. We'll do the quotes first. So, jokes and quotes. I am. 2 of the most powerful words. For what you put behind them shapes your reality. And, I mean, it's not 100% foolproof. You can't say, I am a superhero, and all of a sudden your reality is that you're a superhero. But you'd really be surprised. I like how I said I was going to get my phone out and then I just keep having it. You'd really be surprised how powerful and how much control you have over things. And like we kind of talked about last time, you can change. Sorry, my phone's, the edge of it's not, the screen protector's not adhering all of a sudden. You can change your reality at any point. You don't have to wait on any certain thing. You don't have to wait until the weekend or until a vacation if you want to do something, just go out and do it. And I mean, whatever you want to be, you can just go out and do it. The other quote I'm going to have to read. Every day the world will drag you by the hand, yelling, this is important, and this is important, and this is important. You need to worry about this, and this, and this. It's up to you to yank your hand back, place it on your heart, and say, no, this is what's important. And a lot of people don't take time for themselves. I mean, the world we live in right now is so busy, and everyone's, there's so many notifications, and everyone talks about you need to put your phone down and go out. And I mean, if you really enjoy being on social media constantly, then that's fine, but you need to be doing what you enjoy, and you need to really take a look at yourself and say, is this the best thing for me? I mean, if you feel like every time you get off social media you feel bad, then that's not the right thing for you. You need to find a way to decrease it. And I'm not saying completely put it away, because that's really hard to do for a lot of people, but just take little steps, like maybe for an hour each day, don't turn it on, or turn your phone off for an hour, and just go for a walk or something like that. But you have to control the world around you, because if it has you the way it wants, then you're going to be lost in advertisements and them trying to sell you stuff and negativity, and it's just not healthy, so be careful for that. Jokes. Wedding I shot recently was so beautiful, even the cake was in tears. Okay, a little delayed, it backed out on me. I wasn't sure if I wanted a beard, but it's kind of starting to grow on me. Alright. Inside the Introvert. And I'm trying to make these videos smaller, so we're not going to have nearly as many. We had a pool party. Ironically, I've got another one tomorrow. We had a pool party for the Pokemon Go players. Like, some of us are kind of made friends with each other. So I said I would go, and I knew it wasn't going to be fun, because I just don't like social interactions like that. But did it anyways, and they were wanting to get together and do some group things in Pokemon Go, like the hour prior. And I rode my motorcycle in. Again, I'm about an hour away. And when I got here, they had already done the stuff they wanted to do prior, and each of them had kind of gone back to their homes until we were going to go swim, and at someone's house. Well, now I'm stuck in the area I'm at, and I'm just sitting around on a motorcycle, and it's pretty hot, so I ended up finding some place in the shade, and I couldn't just go to the person's house an hour early, because I didn't know her very well, or not well enough for something like that. And so I just kind of played around on my phone in the shade, and it was not pleasant, and I hate wasting my time like that. That's why I'm not a big fan of social things, because more often than not, plans fall through, and I'm stuck wasting my time. I'm like, man, there's so many more things I'd rather be doing than sitting on my motorcycle playing on my phone. I should have just gone for a cruise, but probably by the time I got anywhere cool, it'd be time to turn right around. But, I mean, it wasn't, the party itself, once I got there, it wasn't bad. I mean, we had pizza, and we went swimming, and not nearly as many people showed up as I thought they were, but, I mean, it was still nice, and there was not really any overly awkward moments during the party, so it wasn't the end of the world, but I still wouldn't say it was fun by any means. But I'm doing it again tomorrow, and a lot more people committed to coming tomorrow. So we moved places at work, and someone stopped by to tell me I was in the wrong spot. And we've kind of addressed this before. I don't think I've ever talked to this person. I may have seen this person. She looked a little bit more familiar, but definitely it's not like we talk on a regular basis at all. Maybe I've talked to her once. And so now I'm stuck having this conversation with essentially a stranger. And then she started telling me about, I wonder if I wrote it on there. Oh, she started telling me about how bright the lighting was at her desk, like where they moved her to. I was like, okay, I wanted to say, I'm pretty sure all the light bulbs are the same all over the building. Like, I highly doubt it's going to be any different. And I told her, I was like, well, you can turn the brightness down on your monitor. And she's like, well, even on my desk, I need like some shaders above me or something. So like, okay, like the only possible area she could move from with different lighting is because they've got sunroof is a different part of the building, and she wasn't there. Those people didn't move. So it's like, I don't know what to say. It was so awkward. But she finally repeated that I was in the wrong spot, and then she finally took off. So I just kind of sat there awkwardly for a good 3 or 4 minutes in that conversation. So I've been having to make, I think I said in a previous video, I've been having to make a ton of phone calls, and which, man, it just drains me. Like, I'm not a big fan of phone calls. I definitely prefer emails or text messages, and having to call these places, talking to complete strangers and having to ask them questions, get information from them, like, I'll do maybe 20 calls throughout the day. Maybe not that many. Maybe like between 10 and 15 calls throughout the day on my breaks and stuff. By the end of the day, I am just socially completely drained. Even though it's a phone call, I'm not seeing anyone in person, I'm exhausted. And, but anyways, I go to make some phone calls, and this person, like, we've got 2 coffee areas, and then in the middle, there's like chairs and stuff that you can sit in. And there's technically 4 zones, and if, I picked a zone that didn't have anyone else because I was going to be making phone calls. Like, the zones are really close together. There's like a small table and 4 chairs, and then you go over here and it's the same thing, and over here and over here. Well, I guess the other ones were full, and I was already making my phone calls, and this lady comes down and sits down beside me, and she can tell I'm making phone calls, and I'm not going to get up and move. There's nowhere to go. So I just keep making my phone calls, and it just happened to be that the calls I was making, she perfectly knew my life situation. Like, I highly doubt she knew who I was, but if she did, and I didn't want anyone else to know about this, she would definitely know. Like, it was just the perfect string of calls that she could easily know exactly what I was having to deal with right now. I was like, why is she not going away? Like, it was so awkward. It reminded me of the movie Captain Ron, when he's trying to make a call on the payphone, the dude's just standing there. He's like, you can go stand over there. I'll signal you when I'm done. The dude just stands there and looks at him. Yeah, that was kind of me. So that's going to be it for Inside the Introvert. I am under 30 minutes, so that's what my goal is right now, because my video hasn't shut off. If you want to see all my older videos, you can go to YouTube, and I know YouTube streaming is not the best, but if you want to download them, you can use a website called Online Video Converter, and you just copy and paste the YouTube link in there, and you can download them. At the end of the year, I'll get a SoundCloud membership and have all my episodes on there, but for now, that's the method I'm going to use. All my new episodes will be on SoundCloud, though, so if you keep up with me, you can stream it through there, and they stay on there for about a month before I need to delete them to put more on there. And if you want to see nature pictures and like Photoshop pictures that are really cool, check out my Flickr. It's SilverC_review. Hopefully they don't change the name of the website because it's being taken over by PhotoMug, I don't know, some other photo website. But I'm also on Twitter, and I already said SoundCloud, so that's going to be it for this one. Take care.